Welcome, bro. Tana
Sounds right.
from the Polytech Talk podcast. How's it going?
Yeah, yeah, good, bro. Yeah, it's been a while since I've sat down for a podcast, actually. Yeah, so it's been a real while. I think I'm due
Yeah, yeah,
to pick it up again.
yeah, man. Yeah, no, 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 definitely. The reason why I'm here because of this deal with the All Blacks. So Silver Lake Investments is a big investment company in the states, and they invest a lot of money, millions of dollars, into a lot of tech companies around the world. And if you've read the paper recently, you'll see that Silver Lake has come to the doorstep of the New Zealand rugby and the All Blacks, and they've offered almost $500 million. I think it was $460 million for 15% of the commercial side of the All
Yeah.
Blacks.
Well, yeah, and so it's amazing. Like they're valuing the All Blacks as like a $3 billion industry. So it's a huge, I guess, however they make up these numbers and see the value of the future of the All Blacks. I think it's a good thing for All Black rugby. I guess it's just understanding, what does that deal mean? What power does it give them?
Yeah, it is a good deal in terms of we're talking about $500 million here, and if you look at the state of our grassroots rugby, who's in dire need of funding. I heard the boys on the counter rock last night. Joey mentioned that there's a lot of club rugby teams around New Zealand that are failing to put on a full team
Wow. Yeah,
in
yeah.
in Premier level. And I think I read in the Herald, Sean Fitzpatrick, he was saying like it's good for that money to come in and help club rugby as well on the grassroots level. Who's the guy? Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
I think he said the same thing as well. So yeah, it was interesting to me that the only thing that caught my attention of this story was that I think some of the All Blacks were concerned, or some of the players were concerned about this deal. And Sam Kane, he wrote a letter to the NZR to
Yeah,
ask,
yeah.
can we get more information about this deal and where the money's going? And that sort of prompted me to look at the Silver Lake investment company,
Mm.
and that's when I found out they were a company that invests heavily
In
in
tech,
tech.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so immediately I thought of you, since you're since
Yeah,
you're the tech guru, and I sort of asked you to have a look around that sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But what was interesting to me, because they're in tech,
Mm.
and I looked at how much money they invested in tech, and they've got Skype,
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
got a lot of
Well-known brands and yeah, different arms.
yep, and I see they've got a lot of entertainment, sports stuff as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
saw they invested $500 million as well to Man City, and then that deal was like similar to the one they want to do with the All Blacks.
Mm.
In terms of the tech side of things, the tech company getting into sports, like for me, it triggered like a feeling of, oh yeah, so I know we stream a lot of our sports. Sky Now
Yeah, yeah.
is in place, and I think Spark, if you want to watch the cricket, that sort of tech coming into sports,
Mm.
the way we watch sports, sort of brings to mind changes that might happen in the future on how us as a consumer and sports fans will watch sports. Did you have any thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, and I think you're probably on the right track around that because I guess you hear a tech company coming in to take over a sports team, and I think it's like, yeah, well, where are they going? Well, like, how does tech relate? And I see that, yeah, the investment is actually going to be kind of led through their Endeavour arm, and so Endeavour are the guys that are they've got WWE already under them and UFC, and so that I guess like you're saying, it's kind of along those lines of platforms, and it looks like the way we're going to be consuming, All Blacks in the future is going to be very different. I guess we're very used to, just still using the TV, going through Sky and using our local, subscription services that are available here in New Zealand. But I think we're so used to Netflix. I guess it'll come down to having a big tech company running it. It could be a blessing. We could actually get an easy app to grab. Watch all your All Black entertainment, just like the NBA. You know how they've got the NBA app and all that. And I think it just becomes a dedicated arm for All Blacks. I think it'll just be interesting, because I guess that's off the All Black arm, but where does that leave us with Super Rugby and I guess all the other rugby that we're so used to watching, just via Sky and maybe that's the kind of change that I guess we went through it when Sky first did it, when we were so used to watching rugby on Sundays on, Sunday Grandstand and just watch all our games for free on Sunday, and then all of a sudden Sky came and took that away from us, and I guess over time we just made that shift, and maybe this is the next generation of the shift in the way we view it, and I guess it's just following the trends of the world, and that's why these big tech companies see a huge opportunity that I guess no one locally has kind of clicked onto or kind of done the heavy lifting to kind of move the All Blacks into that space when it's such an amazing team, and I guess an amazing product that these guys have kind of seen and seen an opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you with locally how we're sort of like behind the eight ball on a few things. Because when I think of Sky TV, they've been long been like the sort of
Yeah, the monopoly.
their thing with satellite TV is the same as cable TV over in the States, right? So they've been a sort of like the force for many years for how we sort of watch our live sports. In my opinion, they took too long to stay in that model because I remember reading about Sky TV losing customers, and this was around the time streaming started to happen. A lot of people were getting the content by streaming, whether that be legal or illegal,
Yeah,
but it was available to
yeah,
everybody.
exactly.
So no one was really keen to have a decoder and pay their subscription when they can get it for free. If you knew how to do it,
Yeah, yeah,
I think that just showed Sky's failure to change over to the streaming, having digital content, and they took long doing it. They took so long doing it. Now we have Sky now. As I thought it was too late because they've already lost the cricket to Spark. Spark was the first ones to put their hand up and say, "Oh,
yeah.
we're
And
going to do
start
some
doing some
streaming."
streaming. Yeah, exactly.
That's right, and we're going to have the World Cup, and
And
we'll put it on streaming. You know?
I think that's probably part of the fear around local is like, well, we saw the disaster that happened when we tried to get the World Cup, and all our local people were like, "Cool, we can finally watch it on a different service," and it was like, "Not really."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I was already watching NBA on the NBA app.
Yeah, yeah,
So the NBA had their app for many years before, and you could watch every single game on demand on your phone or stream it to your TV through Google Chrome and that. And I mean, you could watch the games on TV as well on ESPN, but you can also have this app. So it was the options.
yeah, yeah, and it was almost like a double. Yeah,
Yeah, so you couldn't. There was not one place you could watch NBA or even NFL. There was multiple platforms. I feel like NBA just said, "Oh, who cares? We want to be on everything." You know, we'll have an app. We'll make deals with ESPN, and we'll just do it that way. But I think over here in New Zealand, I think because Sky had the stranglehold of how we watch sports, that they just kept to that model, having a Sky decoder and paying a subscription. When people these days were watching games on their phone if you
yeah.
could.
And I think that's the thing. I think what Sky is still got that hold of in the market in New Zealand is our rugby and league. I guess that's the thing. Like that's the kind of content that a lot of Kiwis want to watch, other than the international sports, and that's it's hard to find to stream. Our local stuff. You want to watch international boxing. Yep, you can go to a lot of different sites and stream it there, and some of them free as well. But again, there's no sites to kind of stream our local, rugby or league. Like I think NRL have their NRL app as well now, so they do the same for the league. But yeah, when it comes to rugby, we're still kind of that's kind of the bread and butter for most people with their Sky subscriptions.
That NRL, because that's NRL.com. You can just log on
Yeah, and
on
it's
your
the
on your
same.
on desktop and watch the games,
Yeah.
but you can't watch it overseas. It's blocked if you.
Yeah, and so they geofence it, and so it's the same for New Zealand and Australia. As soon as you go outside, and then it says you're not within the country. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's interesting in itself. Because if the NRL has this sort of, if the NRL as an entity says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have our own app," and we'll subscribe, we'll get people to subscribe to our app, and you can watch our games on your phone or any device you choose as alternative to watching live on TV, where you have to watch it on Fox Sports,
yeah, yeah.
which their subscription thing. So they've got options.
But it's interesting though that the fact that they geofence it, like you'd think they'd open up the market and make it kind of get some funds from other countries, from people that might be interested. It's just interesting
Mm.
that it's locked down.
Mm. Yeah. So all this talk of how we watch our rugby, I think for me, like having options of having on all platforms is a good outcome.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. I think it's a positive thing. I mean, the more that it's available, yeah, it just makes it better for us, the general public, to to get a hold of it. I mean, you think of all the different platforms that it can reach once it's out there and available more freely, especially in those other markets like the States and places where there's so many more people able to build on the platforms and see other opportunities. It can only be good. Um, I think again when it comes to the players, that's probably the biggest concern for them is that's a whole lot of money, and does any of that kind of come to them? Because I guess at the end of the day, they're the content creators. I mean, without the players, there's nothing really for these platforms to deliver. And so I think that's going to be the biggest thing is making sure they get that balance right. Because the last thing you want to see is good players kind of walking away from the game because they're going, well, it's kind of just big money and there's nothing for us. And then the last thing you need is to water down the product, and then our All Blacks aren't the best anymore.
Yeah. I read that Silver Lake did when they got the deal through with Man City football in 2019. So it's been 2 years, and it'll be interesting to see how that's gone. Even with COVID and that, see if they've made any money on their investment. But yeah, I think for me anyway, it's interesting to see what will happen, how much of a impact this investment company will have in terms of the tech side of
Hmm.
things, and how much of an influence that will be with Sky TV over here
Yeah.
and social media. Because I know the NFL have made a deal with Amazon
Oh, wow.
to
Yeah, yeah.
for Amazon Prime to show all their Thursday night games.
Through Amazon Prime.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it's not exclusive.
But all the Amazon, so anyone who's got Amazon Prime can now pick that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can now pick the Thursday night NFL games.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the question: is that what we're going to see in the future? Like you mentioned before, Tana, are we going to see a sports shown on Netflix?
Well, yeah. I mean, why not? Like, I guess you look at Netflix as one of the biggest, distributors of content when it comes to music, movies, and TV. But yeah, where is that sporting arm? And man, that'll be amazing. I guess it's a plus for the consumer. It just gives us everything we want on whatever we want. Yeah, yeah. And I guess that's the way it's kind of we're just spoilt for choice. And I guess if you can please the customer, you're just going to make people move to these different platforms. And I guess content, like, I guess it comes back to that as well. If this huge investment is around the media and capturing it, I guess that's probably in the detail of what does that mean for the content and who owns it. And I guess that comes to that point that Joey was mentioning as well on the end of the counter rock you guys were speaking about around that digital media and blockchain and being able to kind of keep that content. So that's that stuff that so Top Deck did it for the NBA.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And Top Deck's the cards,
yeah,
trading
yeah.
cards.
And so basically
Yep.
they've done the same. So and I think they spoke on MyFM as well, but it's using blockchain technology, but it's basically taking a digital capture of those, like a video clip, like a awesome sporting moment, and then digitizing that and basically putting it in blockchain so that yes, you can have copies out on YouTube and that, but you own that original copy. And so what they do is get the original copy of that clip and then put that in a block. And so basically with the blockchain that locks it up. And so it's just like a Bitcoin. You own that, and like yeah, someone else might have a copy of it, but because it's not part of the chain, that you can verify that that's not the original. And it's kind of that's what makes it yeah, that's what makes it special because it's you've got that original content and so now you're able to trade that. And so I mean, and so you just imagine, like a world that Michael Jones try back in '87. Imagine having that and having the blockchain for that. Yep, people can watch it for free on YouTube and it's everywhere. But you hold that original content and you own the rights to that digital, signed copy of it.
Yep. So say if like it's a network that's filming the game.
Mm.
So would they have the original content? Would they own it?
Well, yeah, and so that's what Top Deck did. So I think they partnered with NBA in order to own that content and be able to digitally sign these and put it. And so I think that's the thing. So whoever's kind of got that content can go away and build the blockchain to kind of digitally sign this data, and then and so as they go through, they can create and and start to build up the blockchain so that no one else can tamper with it, and you'll always know that you've got that copy, and then you can trade it as you want, like a card.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So like if say you're at a game
Mm.
and obviously the network's filming the game. If you're on the sideline and you're filming it with your phone, capturing
Yeah.
that same moment with your phone,
Yeah.
you just have a different angle of that same thing. So you could use that footage in the blockchain for yourself and trade that.
Well, that's the thing. So because it's a distributed ledger, so you can only have it as an actual one if the people who have created the blockchain add it in there. So they've got the source code to make sure that every single image is the part of that blockchain. So it's not like I could just go, oh hey, I've got this one and it's my original, and I can prove to you it's original. And people are like,
Yeah.
well, I don't care because it's not part of the blockchain. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So I guess like Bitcoin isn't it's kind of just data, and it's a ledger that shows, who owns what, and then that basically becomes a secret that's hidden in the block, and no one else. But again, Bitcoin isn't a real actual thing. It's not real money. It's kind of just a promissory ledger that's locked in the chain, and so to show that you actually have some worth, only you can only show it through the blockchain, and it's not like anyone can kind of come along with something else and go, oh yeah, this is part of the block. It's like, well, no, it's not been encrypted, and we can prove that it's not actually part of the block.
So if you know the encryption, if you know how to access the blockchain, then you can add your footage in.
So the way blockchain works is that so they call it a hash, but hash is just encrypting data, and so basically the blockchain is built by having the hash for the block, and so the hash is an encryption kind of series of numbers they call a hash, and that series of numbers is the encrypted data plus the hash of the previous block. And so when you it's kind of like how you have passwords and they get encrypted, and so that hash, when the next block's created, it has to encrypt the data again from that previous block plus the new block, and then give it a new hash. And so anytime, so there's no way you can kind of change, because you've got to go and change the whole series of all the different other blocks in order to try and fake a new block. Yeah, and so I guess that's the whole concept around blockchain, to keep it secure, is that it's not an easy process to kind of hack, and so it kind of keeps building, and because it's not only the way that it's encrypted on that one block, then it's got another test as well, where it kind of distributes that same information to a whole bunch of other people, and and so when you're faking, you could fake it on one, but then in order to make it work, you need to kind of find all these other 50 nodes that have got the same information and fake it on all of those, as well as every other block in the chain, because every block, because you're using the previous and the current one, it keeps changing. So if you change this block here, all the rest of the chain, the code's going to change. Yeah, yeah. And so that's the whole concept of blockchain, is that they all link. And so a minor change is going to put it out of sync, and it's going to be very obvious for everyone else to go, well, actually, that's not the same hash as what I've got on that block of mine. So something dodgy's
Oh,
happened.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So that's the point of it. So you can't change anything.
well,
Once
yeah,
it's
yeah.
there.
Once it's there, and the chain just keeps growing. There's
Oh,
no way
okay.
to kind of. So as much as they say that there was, and that was only probably because Bitcoin had only just started. So right back when Bitcoin was quite early on, there was a hack, and someone changed the code, and so there was actually a split of Bitcoin, and there was kind of people kind of going, hey, well, what's happened here? Like, we've got this, and now there's a whole bunch of people with this other kind of chain
Mm.
that's fake. And so people, yeah, and so there was a call that was made back in the days, and went, okay, this is the new blockchain, this is the real one. And so there was quite a few people that were like, hey, well, what? I've got real Bitcoin. And oh, well, we're not. That one seems to be fake, and we're not we're not counting that. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it is possible, but I mean, the longer the chain, the harder and harder it gets. So Bitcoin's like secure now because there's just so many blocks in that chain that is
Mm.
good luck anyone trying to, and because the computation is just so hard to break now, it'll take years for anyone to kind of crack that.
So what that mean with YouTube then? Did you think like I know YouTube, there's certain followers, certain hours watched, you get monetized.
Mm.
This is just another sort of
I think it's just,
monetization of.
yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of it's another version of trading card, but a real souvenir that kind of adds that digital value of
Mm,
even better than souvenirs because now you've got a card that can't break, that can't rip, that can't be stolen, and it's yours forever. And as the value of that card goes up, imagine one of Jordan's dunks, and then you've got that original in a blockchain, and
yeah,
so that's the
that's
thing.
sort of that's interesting because it sort of legitimizes that particular time in the game or whatever it is,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
highlight,
Those
a
highlight
highlight.
reels, yeah, because I,
You
I
can say,
think,
oh
yeah.
yeah, you can have a video, you can have the copy of video on YouTube, but hey, I got the original right here.
Exactly, yeah.
This is the original.
And that's and so I guess that's the thing. So there is a bit of kind of people going, it's a bit of because everyone's kind of looking for that next big thing, and Bitcoin was
Mm,
always for a long time like, it's a bit of rubbish, it's not going to go anywhere, and now that's too hard to get into the market, and so it was say, I think for a while it was seen the same with these NBA videos, like I can see that video anyway, like what's
yeah.
the big deal? There's your one, I can just go watch that, and I think it's kind of gone past that point where now there's I think the video they were talking about on my was I think it was Lamano Ball's like triple double and that's going for
Mm.
like 80K now. It's just a short clip of that.
Oh
Yeah, of that. Yeah,
shit.
yeah. It's just a highlight of him celebrating it. Yeah, and and that's how far it's gone now. But I guess it's just like those trading cards. It's just those souvenirs of, yeah, I've got this mint, signed autographed one, and yeah, it's pretty much got an autograph of, yeah,
Yeah.
that's your signature of your one trading. So I mean, if they move that into the same space for the All Blacks, I guess that's another avenue that they could possibly crack it and kind of bring people into that mold as well.
Did you find out if Silver Lake invested in that technology? Did you?
No, I didn't see that they had it. I
Oh,
mean, but
okay.
yeah, I guess Top Deck's done it, and I guess now that's kind of opened the door for others to to kind of think the same way. Because
Mm,
I guess the blockchain kind of concept isn't that hard, and so many people have kind of built different kinds of currencies on it and different ideas, but it's just trying to find an idea that's going to stick and be worthwhile. Yeah,
mm.
yeah,
Oh man, it'll be yeah, it'll be cool to see what's gonna. It sounds exciting. It
yeah,
sounds exciting where things are going.
yeah.
And I think the thing is, it's scary that people that don't really understand tech or struggle with it, like how to. They probably think it's hard to change how they how things will
Mm.
happen. Like if changes happen to the way we watch or the way we or all these new things like the blockchain or sports,
Yeah,
these are new things, and it'll be hard for people to that don't understand to get used to the new world.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like, yeah, going past the just watching. I guess when you take it back to basics of watching content, I remember how hard it was trying to get my dad set up to watch the Spark sports, and when if his TV wasn't capable, when it was kind of like trying to just show him, oh, we've got to put the laptop here, you got to log on. That was just foreign to him. He's like, ah, email. Yeah, and so I ended up having to swap TVs, and so I guess that's going to be the biggest is and I guess more and more people are being pushed towards that. Okay, you need a smart TV. These
Mm,
apps are going to be coming. Yeah,
mm,
but I think that as the technology becomes more common in our households, I think that'll ease that gap for people. And I think even things like this, like blockchain, hopefully will eventually make more sense. And maybe not. I think maybe it's more just a concept people don't really need to understand and just kind of see it like trading cards, and you
yep.
just need to know that this is an original and this is yours, and it's worth quite a lot of money now. Yeah, yeah.
There's a few things that's exciting about what's going on and what I've heard
Mm,
just on different podcasts and just reading about stuff. But the one thing that I read about was the social media aspect of it. I know like mainstream media is sort of like having to probably not compete as
Mm.
much, but just to share the space with people that do podcasts,
Yeah, yeah,
TikTok,
other yeah content.
just content creators. Because this day and age now, it's like the first time ever a consumer can be a content creator,
Yeah,
and so if things happen that we see on radio or we hear on radio or see on TV, we can actually do it ourselves.
yeah, and exactly. Have a voice that's not having to listen to the same people and kind of be like, oh, this guy doesn't know.
Yeah, which brings me to that idea that I think I mentioned to you off air a couple of days ago, but this thought of being your own commentator,
Yeah, that's right.
an app that would allow people with a mic anywhere to be a commentator on any sports game
Yeah.
they choose. And for people with this app who's watching a game, maybe a Super Rugby game, maybe a Crusaders game,
Mm.
maybe you're a Blues fan and you just can't stand hearing just a Marshall. You just can't stand that guy. So you just flip on this app, and you've got millions of alternative
Yeah, yeah.
commentators you
Commentary.
can choose from around the world on that particular
Mm.
game. So
And I think Sky might have, they kind of might have trialed that. You remember they used to have that option where you could choose the different commentary.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
don't know if that's kind of along the lines, if whether Silver Lake does it or someone comes over the top. That's an also opportunity. Not just for content creators, but for again for the again it becomes a if it's good for the consumer, it's good for everyone because it makes more people go, oh, actually, I'll start watching now because I like listening to those
mm,
dudes. Imagine listening to them commentate a
yeah.
game.
And with the choices you can have, it doesn't need to be a serious technical
Yeah.
commentary. It can be three guys just having beers, being drunk, and watching the game. You just want to hear
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah, and exactly. Each to their own. Some people will, yeah, just probably don't, or just listening to commentators actually, pronouncing people's names properly. You might be
Yeah,
just stuck on that kind of thing, and it's like, I just want to be able to watch a game where these guys actually get the names right. Yes, I mean, yeah, again, that spells heaps of opportunity, and whether Silver Lake take it on themselves or, I mean, it's an opportunity for anyone, I guess, to come over the top. Like, if you could create an app that wraps around whatever content, whether you're viewing something through YouTube or some other app, and it streams that content, but then shows you all the content creators who are also available on that specific sport program or whatever.
yeah. Because right now, man, like I think I subscribe to like all the streaming services:
Wow.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus, Neon, Netflix, Amazon Prime. I got Sky Sport now. But
And I think, yeah, that's part of it is the way that, yeah, the I guess so many of the sports are distributed. It's you find yourselves having to, or even just movies. I'm finding we're the same. We've got Netflix just for whatever we need there, and then kind of Disney Plus for everything we need there.
I mean, the ones I named are just the ones in New Zealand. But over in the States, like because of the COVID-19, no one's going to movie theaters anymore. So these movie studios like Universal, Paramount, they're having to create their own streaming services, and by doing so, that they had to take their movies off Netflix to start
Ah,
their
to
own
pull it
streaming
back out.
service.
And okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem a good idea if you have to subscribe to like 100 different
yeah. And I
streaming
guess
servers.
that's again, yeah, I guess that's how that things will start because I guess it comes down to content again, like who's owning the content, and so I think that's possibly where off the back of those kind of conversations, Silver Lake's seen the same. Like, if we want people to start watching that content, we should own it so that we can kind of control where it's being played and what audience we can grab with it. And so I think it's a smart move on their half. I mean, they're making sure that it's real money and it's worthwhile for the for the NZRU to take on board seriously, have a good think about it. But I think, yeah, they're the ones that are going to win in the end. I mean, that they seem like very savvy investors in everything they've done so far. So